I like the jams.
I know. Good pick.
It's beats. It's Beat Central over here. It makes us feel a little bit more legitimate.
Podcast, Beat Central with.
All we got was new music, and then I got this mic, and then we got our lighting situated. So that's it. That's all you came here for, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's all basketball today. For the housekeeping, find us on Facebook. Search We Got Next Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends about it too. You like sports. I know you like sports. Jump in on the conversation. How? Call the voicemail line 370-0337. I'm looking at my notes here. I kind of forgot the number because I had to make it. We are available wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Just search the We Got Next Podcast. Find the logo. Where is it, Joe, on the screen?
Bottom.
You'll see it. It's a microphone. My left?
Yeah.
Oh, so here. Wait, no, that's my right.
Oh, no.
You'll find it. You see the logo if you're watching lower third right now on YouTube or on Facebook. You'll see it. Microphone with the little sports icons around it. Not these other fake ass We Got Next Podcast. Nice try, jerks. Facebook, I got a question for you. Which sport are you most excited for this spring? Throw that out there. Joe, you can type it up too. Super producer with the supercomputer. He's got more chips than the corner store. Super producer.
Yo.
He's watching all of your comments right here on the live stream if you're watching us on Facebook. Again, we are on the Sunday Fun Day podcast page. You should check that podcast out also wherever you get your podcasts. Free to download on Spreaker, by the way. Yeah, we're on here. We're going to find a way to migrate back to the We Got Next Facebook page. Search We Got Next on Facebook for that. Twitter at We Got Next _pod. Instagram at We Got Next _pod. I'll be posting some more reels there. And your voicemails, if we don't get to them on air, we will throw them on the socials. And again, voicemail 370-0337. Facebook, Joe's typing that question for you right now. What sport are you most excited for this spring? Could be baseball. We got some baseball fans out there. Could be basketball, like myself. Love basketball. Could be badminton. I don't know when they host that, but it could be. We got the coming up. You could be excited for that. Whatever. Hit us up. We'll get to your comment whenever you throw them in there. First off, Joe, Texas Tech basketball. I know you haven't been paying a lot of attention to it.
Nope, catch me up.
You missed out. It's not over yet, but you're missing out right now in the heat of the Big 12 competition. Texas Tech women's basketball played last night. They lost to number 5 Texas in Austin in a close game, 77-72, excuse me. That was an exciting ball game there. Kept it close up to halftime. First 2 quarters, Tech was shooting the ball well. Just got out-rebounded, outsized. And you see, it sucks. You see promise in the team. And they play hard. They play extremely well. But when it's just as good as it can be, it's also just as bad as it can be. It's not really a lot of counterbalance there for this women's basketball team. 16-12 is their record. 5-10 in the conference. 4-10 since January. That's including out-of-conference games as well. Great start, hot start, and then it just got a little bit rocky once you get into the Big 12 competitions. And again, you lose to Texas in Austin. That's nothing to keep your head down about. They have potential. The bench is just, you have a lot of young players on this team too. The bench is just kind of stepping into their own. Kind of nowhere to be seen last night, but that's not to say that this team doesn't have it. We'll get to more tournament talks, NCAA tournament talks, when we get closer to that. March is almost here. Crazy to think about.
We have an extra day in February, so that's an extra day of sports in spring, right?
Happy February. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Extra day.
They should have the extra day every Black History Month. Why don't they?
Let's throw that extra day in there. Let's just do it. We'll do it.
I forgot it was leap year. I had to look at the calendar for it.
We have, speaking of Black History Month, you got a little teaser, Joe, for At the Buzzer, our last segment of the show.
Yes, couple different items here. No Bull Tour, EA Sports, and one got to go.
lot of action. Last segment of the show is sports related, but it's also kind of like not. You'll get there when you see it. Fans of the show, if you've been loyally watching us, y'all get it. Y'all get it. Texas Tech men's basketball, number 23 ranked men's basketball team won a thriller at home on Monday night, 82-81 versus TCU. Joe's Horned Frogs. Favorite color is purple.
Nope.
His favorite frog is horny.
That's true, actually.
Oh, excuse me. Let me go over the stats real quick. Jasmine Shavers had 27.3 rebounds, 1 assist. Bailey Maupin, 22, 2, and 4 in last night's loss against Texas. For the women's team, the men's team, 19-7 overall record, 8-5 in the Big 12, 9-5 since January. They had a kid at the beginning of the month. Excuse me, at the beginning of the month, and then went on a little bit of a tear, but kind of trading losses back and forth. Big 12 is tough. Big 14, as I could call it right now.
That's news to me. I actually did not know that.
The only thing I didn't like about this game, and I was talking to a guy about it yesterday, Tech's shooting is inconsistent from 3. And with one of their best players being out, you lack size too. So you have a lot of players stepping up. The bucket's not falling. The effort's there. I love to see that. The team works well together defensively, and I mean with a score that it's relatively low compared to the national average. 82 points or 81 points by TCU. You're still allowing teams to get inside, and that's a little bit discerning for me. I know it's Coach Haslon's first season at Tech. But defense is what we're predicated on. If you're a Red Raider fan, I say we because I'm like part of the team. Yeah, whatever. Y'all get fandoms. But I also come at people sideways for that. It's like, oh, you play on the team. That's a little bit of a concern for me for Texas Tech is inconsistent 3-point shooting and get inside a little bit more. Get those rebounds. That's what happened to the women's team yesterday against UT. They got obliterated. And it's just recruiting might have a little bit to do with that. Yeah, if you want to believe that, yes, that is actually truth. But Tech has always been small, like in almost every sport. So, I mean, you're kind of used to it by now. But that's the Texas Tech little roundup right there for that Roundball segment there. A little segment that Joe is more vocal about, NBA All-Star Weekend. I'll go through everything. We're not going to talk about everything, but I'll go through just enough for us to. Oh yeah. Team Pacers win the 2024 Skills Challenge. Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, and Miles Turner led that 3-headed attack. I like the format that they had this year. It was home team, whomever it was. Indiana was for this year. Team top picks: Paolo Banchero from the Magic, Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves, Victor Wembanyama, our boy from the Spurs. And then he had team all-stars, Scottie Barnes playing out of his mind, Tyrese Maxey carrying the team now since and Trae Young might come to the Spurs. Might come to the Spurs.
That would be incredible.
I have something to say about that, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But they had the 3-team format, so you had the obstacle course. You had I missed the shooting stars a little bit. That's kind of what I like to see when you had Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and everyone's favorite 2-time WNBA head coach champion. Just to throw some names out there. No, I like the format better in this one. The LED court, a lot of people had a problem with it. I actually, from a production standpoint, I loved it. It looked dope.
Yeah,
you can see the little trails, like kind of where your person is supposed to go. People had like a more of a video game feel to it. I liked it. It looked cool. But I also like tech stuff like that.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say I don't think they did it last year, but them being able to do it's like live mapping and stuff, it's super cool. It also brought more to it than just it made it more of a spectacle, which it should be. It's All-Star Weekend, and I think it was the right time to do it too.
I'm with it. I mean, it was in Indiana. You kind of had to beef it up a little bit.
I was going to say, Lucas Oil. You need something else to make Indiana more palatable.
Shout out to our friends in Fort Wayne, one of which sent us a voicemail last week.
Hey.
Send us a voicemail about Indiana. Let us know. Let us know how cool Indiana is. Am I shading it for no reason? You let me know. I know you're listening to this, by the way. Shout out to Noye. Yeah, that was a skills challenge. 3-point contest. Damian Lillard wins again, 2 years in a row. He was the 2024 3-point contest winner on the final shot. Actually, he becomes the first to repeat since 2017. Jason Bono, your boy, was the last time to do that. He did it for 2 different teams also. Lillard did it for Portland and for Milwaukee. Joe, who was the last Buck to win the 3-point contest for Milwaukee?
I don't know.
Ray Allen.
Oh, he was in the Bucks?
Forever ago. He was drafted by the Bucks.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking about the Sonics.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
I thought he was drafted to the Sonics. Dang, I didn't know that.
We had a whole list of players that we're not really going to talk about too much because the 3-point contest was great. Lillard scores 26 in his final shot to win the 3-point contest. It was tough. The tiebreaker part of it was a little confusing because you had 4 players tied for first to get into the final round, but you needed 4 players to get into the final round. Why not just have the 4 tied players just get in?
I was going to say all the tied players should have advanced. That didn't make any sense to me. It would have been easy. It's like you need 4, not 4 places. You just need 4 people. It's like, well, by technicality, we need 4 places. The first 4 places to make it. It's like, well, they already did it. They're right there.
It was confusing. It was confusing on the broadcast too when they were talking about it. They were like, "Well, we need someone to win first place to get into there." But at that point, you have a 4-way tie for first. So just get all of them in there at that point, and then you don't waste time with the tiebreakers. And this, I know people complain that All-Star Saturday Night stretches too long, and it's too much of a spectacle. And then you had an extra event in here, which we'll talk about in a second. But you had an extra event, and then you still have the dunk contest, which is always last for some reason. We'll talk about how we want to fix this because I know everyone has heard how they would fix this, and we'll give you our take here in a second. You got to take 370-0337. Call the voicemail line. Leave us a voicemail on how you changed the All-Star game. If you could. If you're a fan of basketball. There are other All-Star games that need to change too.
Yeah, it's not just NBA's All-Star game. It doesn't have the same panache that it did for any sport, I think, the All-Star weekend. We're getting there. Sorry.
Yeah, we're getting there. Damian Lillard won the 3-point contest. Then you had Stephen versus Sabrina.
That was actually cool. I liked it a lot.
This was the more highly anticipated event out of the entire thing. Of course, Steph Curry wins if you haven't heard by now. Spoiler alert. It's like, oh man, I was saving that on my DVR in my home stream. Sorry,
you weren't gonna watch that. Clear out your DVR.
Yeah,
you're not gonna watch all those episodes of Scrubs either.
Hey man, Scrubs is a good show.
Just get him out of there and just start streaming it again.
You don't even have to record Scrubs. You can have it on Hulu.
Exactly. Why do you have it recorded? Get it out of there. Yeah.
This event was the first of its kind because it had the best shooter in the NBA and probably in basketball history ever. And you had the best shooter in the WNBA with Sabrina Ionescu. She did fantastic. Shooting from the men's 3-point line, everyone thought that was a little bit weird. Kenny Smith, your boy.
Had never been my boy.
Kenny Smith, not Kenny Smith, right?
Nope.
Because he was a Rocket.
Yeah, he was whack, dude.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Still whack.
No, it just she chose to shoot from the men's 3-point line. Still use the WNBA ball. Who cares? Who effing cares? She still did the damn thing and scored 26, which would have been enough for her to win the final.
Exactly.
In the men's 3-point shooting contest. Shout out to Sabrina Ionescu for that one.
She definitely would have. She definitely would have put up a challenge against all those fools because it's like. She made it look easy too, I think, is really what it comes down to. Like, that's super far. Have you ever shot a ball that far multiple times, not counting warm-ups? Like, that's hard.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Not great, not well. I've done it. I've done it. I put up all those numbers, Joe. That's what I did, and then it was like 4 was the numbers.
The stat is just like shots.
I want to find a group of friends, and if you're listening to this, I want you to jump in on this. I want to find a group of friends and like get some racks together to do something like this to see how well they would be able to do it.
Yeah, it's hard, and I can't even shoot 3-pointers consistently. I'm like,
we should just bring back pros versus semi pros versus shows. Even that would people don't realize the discrepancy of how hard like you have to be to perform at just this level. Like at the collegiate level, we were just talking about tech basketball. Those players are way badass, and nobody like you see them make it look so easy, which is the problem. It's the optics of it. But then you sitting on your couch, you don't realize how much you have to run. You got to keep the wind in your lungs, and then you're backing somebody down, and then you're
it's mostly your legs getting tired too. In the 3-point contest regard, like jumping is where you get all the power for your shot. It's not arms.
And then you're swaying, and then you have to keep your mechanics and like, getting your feet set. Karl Anthony Towns kept stepping on the 3-point line in the 3-point contest, and there's a little bit of controversy on whether or not his shot should have counted or whatever.
Counted.
The ref's literally standing right there.
You can't mention Karl Anthony Towns without something being tagged onto something weird or dumb he's been doing. Man, I feel bad for him sometimes. It's like, dude,
it's like that week he dropped 60 and then like they still lost, and then y'all had everybody just talking mess about the effort of the team, and
Cat was immediately like the next night. It wasn't it like 73 points or something somebody scored, and it's just like dude can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. Sorry, Karl.
But
going back to Stefan versus Sabrina. Also, get a better prop. Get a better trophy. Did you see it?
You like it?
I like the idea of a championship belt, but get one that doesn't look like you got it out of a box. Get one that looks like it was like hot off the smithing iron. Get one that has some like plating on it, not like just
or like custom made blown glass or something. Like
anything else would have been better than that title that they had.
The cheapie. We
used to watch wrestling. We used to watch wrestling growing up, so we know a little thing or two about how a championship belt should look. But also have a championship belt that looks good, that makes somebody want to wear it. There was a photo of Steph and his wife driving away. It's like Steph and Aisha celebrate winning Stephan versus Sabrina. And it was just like he had the belt on his lap and he was just like kind of like chilling. Just like, yeah, I want it. Yeah. Have something that has some shine on it. Have something that's like heavy to carry.
You can't mount a belt. Like that's what trophies are for. You can put them on a shelf. You can photos can even be like put in a frame, but like a belt, you just like, okay, cool. It's like you're putting a belt up. It takes up so much wall and stuff. No, I don't like it.
I like it. I'm taking up a whole bunch of wall right here with all of these props. That laser gun Joe made for me.
Yeah, but the purpose of the belt is because it's transferable. No. So does he have to bring it back next? That's what it is. So he has to bring it back next time they face off for the belt. That means there's a champion and then the contender. So now he's in the running.
If I had that belt, Joe, right where this laser rifle is, it would go right there. And if I had to bring it back, it's like, oh, we're gonna run it back, we're gonna do it again. That's the whole point of it. It's like you defend the strap.
Yep.
That's about it. Boxing, dope. UFC, same thing. That thing is giant. You don't even have to wear it most time. You can just throw it over your shoulder. You can come out here, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson never wore it around. Well, he did a couple times, but after he got the guns, he was just like, no, I'm gonna have it over here, over my shoulder.
Yeah,
I think that's dope.
I think that's one way you would be able to make All-Star Weekend better. It's like, okay, they introduced this thing. It was the most viewed part of that night of All-Star Weekend.
Yes, it was.
So
most certainly was.
There's something to it now. So that now that it's gained popularity, they can go ahead and they can run it back. Steph defends his title, maybe against another WNBA player or something. It might be Sabrina again though, because she's freaking good. But yeah, I think they do a rematch. They get to trade belts. I think that'd be awesome. That's one way you can make All-Star Weekend better.
I think you run it back. You have it again. They're both as competitive as they are. either way, how I would have won, it was going to be rematch, automatic rematch. Like if you're playing Joe against something like in Tekken or whatever, he's automatically going to want a rematch. I'm letting you all know that right now.
First of all, we play. First of all, you do best of
It's
five.
best of 5. Yeah, best of 5.
And then when you do best of 5, then you do another match. That's a match. You do best of 5. That's a match. All right, good game. And then, but I like to win. So, or if I'm losing a bunch, I like to beat my opponent's will by continually challenging them to a rematch until they quit. And then that's how you win. That's how you really win. Petty tips from Joe.
That's not how you win. You just keep whooping his ass and then you pummel him into the ground and then you defeat his will.
No, but
I'm the other way around. So
it's like it's like an anime. Like I'm the guy that I keep getting beat up, but then I get up and I spit blood out my mouth, and it's just like I just have to keep trying, and then you keep trying. That's the goal, everyone. Doesn't matter how you get knocked down. It matters how you get up. How you get up matters.
Oh my god, shut up. But I say they run it back next year. It was easily the most viewed and the most liked event out of all of it, only because Sabrina brought it. And Steph brought it. He misses, it was the right wing rack, and I think he missed 3 and he made the last 2. And then he goes on and he misses 1 and then he makes the rest of his rack on the final rack. Part of me, because Steph is as good as he is, part of me was like, he hammed it up a little bit. Like he missed that 4th rack on purpose. And then he came back and then he was like, oh, I'm just going to J all of these. No problem.
Yeah, I think
that's what I felt.
Even if it was for like the drama of it or whatever. Also, he's competitive though. He doesn't want to lose. Especially he knows that he's the best 3-point scorer of our era. Like
all the athletes in that building that night do not want to lose. And this goes back to what we were talking about last week of, they rigged the Super Bowl. Like, no, that would require one party to willingly want to lose. That ain't it. Unless someone's argument is like, well, of course no one's going to want to lose, so you get the refs to do it. Like, no, there are too many circumstances and factors for anybody to want to lose.
Also, they act like the people that are in the NFL are all about like, oh yes, we're going to uphold the loyalty of the brand. It's like, no, a majority of the people that play in any of these sports are also just like, man, I got to provide for the people that I care about, and they go to work. Not everybody out here that is like the conspiracy to uphold the integrity of the shield of the NFL. It's like they're not. Y'all don't go to work being like, yes, I ride for my company that I work for. Get out of here with that. Like, there's a competitiveness to it that these athletes have, especially world-class athletes. Like, y'all are crazy thinking they're gonna do it for the conspiracy. That's stupid.
Bring it back, Steph versus Sabrina.
Yes,
I'm here for it.
Because you have the belt. You have to defend the belt.
But get a new belt. That's all I'm saying. Get a new belt.
Sneak into Steph Curry's house, switch it out, and then
you can just ask him for it. Like, hey, dude, can you trade us this thing? You don't even have to take it. Steph could throw this other belt away, and then they could just give him a new one before the new event happens.
No, because the commissioner has to save face. He's going to be like, you know what? I've dropped the ball on some stuff here recently, the last month or so. He's not going to make a public thing out of it. He's going to send an NBA. He's going to send an association ninja into the house and switch it out silently.
A sleeper cell, because people believe that.
Oh God! Then it'd just be one of his kids doing it. One of Steph Curry's kids, if that was a thing.
Oh my God! Yeah, bring that one back. That was probably my favorite of the night too. We'll talk about Slam Dunk, as it's called, just Slam Dunk. Mac McClung bests Jaylen Brown, repeats as champion. McClung became the first player. Wreck him.
I was going to say the city of Lubbock has another championship.
City of Lubbock has damn right, Joe. Zach LaVine was the last player to go back-to-back. 16 season to repeat as champion. We all remember the 2015 Slam Dunk Contest, best one ever. A lot of people... Okay, here's the problem with All-Star Weekend. Oh, the East also beat the West. 211 points to 186.
Good Lord.
I know we're kind of glossing over that, but we got some hard-hitting talking points to get to. People hated it, and they hated it so much. 5.5 million viewers watched it. According to Nielsen, the company that does all the television ratings, 5.5 people across TNT, TBS, True TV, and that's up last year from 4.5 million viewers.
Back.
So almost 10 million more, or 1 million more viewers watched this compared to last year. The highest All-Star game was in, I don't remember the year on that one, but 10 million views was that, according to Nielsen again. That was one of the, I can't remember the year, but it goes on it right now. That was one of the highest All-Star game weekends ever. Now we can get into the real stuff Joe wants to talk about. Why do people hate basketball?
Why are people haters?
Why are people haters? How would you make it better?
Say that again. Sorry.
I said, how would you make it better?
I'd probably. Do they still do the celebrity game? I didn't even see that.
That's on Friday.
Okay, so I would say keep that. Some of the stuff that they do on Friday, it's kind of like a soft. Like if you're aware of what the NBA is, they have celebrities that are in the orbit of the NBA. So I think that's a good way to kind of draw people in. So keep the stuff that they have on Friday. I don't know about the skills challenge so much. I feel like because
it's fun. It's fun. I think it goes over the overarching of the entire weekend is that it's not as competitive as it should be because you have the best players in the world competing against each other, but also kind of not taking it serious. That's, I think, what translates all the way across the board for this. The only reason why Stefan versus Sabrina 3-point shootout was as successful as it was is because they both wanted it. They both wanted to win. You had two top class athletes competing against each other. No one wanted to lose, but it was a win-win in both sides of it. The WNBA gets the boost that it needs. The NBA, I mean, yeah, you still retain as, oh yeah, we have the best athletes in the world. That makes sense. That's what I'm here for that. Where everything else fell flat was you didn't have people trying as hard as they should have. You had 211 points against 186 in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
that shows that they can put it up. But nobody was playing defense. Nobody really demonstrated. There was only 3 fouls in that game called, but nobody demonstrated the real effort that we all wanted to see. It's like, yeah, I want to see guys going at each other. That's what's so cool about basketball too. Is like you can run isolation and be like one-on-one face up with this dude. If you ever play street ball, it's just like, oh, I got him, or he can't stop me, whatever. That's what you want to see.
I'm trying to figure out where that comes from because maybe it's not necessarily like the caliber of player or like the type of player, but for me, I think it comes from like a saving face type thing. It's like, for one, nobody wants to get beat on defense like that, especially in the All-Star game. You know, you have quite a bit of people watching a single game of NBA basketball. Maybe not counting the finals. But I also think it's so, they play so many games already throughout the year, not even counting if you get into the playoffs or not. So it's like, I can see it's like a longevity thing or like people not wanting to get hurt or anything like that. Especially if it's like an exhibition, like maybe the prize or something needs to be a little bit better, or a certain incentive needs to happen for like the winning side.
Okay, you say that. They're already playing for 2 separate charities to benefit from whoever wins the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. This is a big old middle finger to them, by the way.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, boys and girls of America, we picked you, but we ain't really trying that hard to win. I know. Both the charities that get selected get a base number. It's like 100,000, something like that. But then the winner gets more.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you want to win for these kids. That's already a bad look there. The success of the in-season tournament, which I wish we were around when that was happening. We came back too late. But
yeah,
actually just right on time. As Red Hot Chili Peppers used to say, right on time. It's a song. I'll show it to you later, Joe. Anyway, you had the in-season tournament have that incentive. $500,000 goes to, you know, the superstars. Granted, they make average $20 million contracts. Other guys, not so much. You go deeper in the bench, they don't make that much. Mm-hmm. But everyone wanted to play hard for it, and everyone wanted to win that title. case in point, LeBron James ends up in the play-in tournament with the Lakers. His mindset for that moving forward in that tournament was we're going to win, and I want to make sure that we win this because we all want to win this. It's the first thing to ever happen. One thing Michael Jordan can't steal from me, which I'm pretty sure he was thinking at some point. But you had people interested in this thing, and it drove everyone else to want to do it. Back in when we were watching basketball feverishly, Kobe Bryant, same thing. Anytime you faced Kobe Bryant, he was always going to hit you in the mouth, and you were going to get the best version of Kobe that you were going to get. Because he was a basketball player. That was his job.
No, and I agree with that because, again, you know, if I'm going to be out here doing something and be competitive, if I was a celebrity getting invited to the Celebrity All-Star game to play in that, I'd be like, yes, I want to win. I mean, it's probably for the same reasons too, like the charities and stuff like that. It's like, but also if I was, you know, back whenever Justin Bieber was out here playing, it's like I want to block his shot. I'll take him because he's like roughly our height or a little bit shorter. It's like I'll defend him.
That actually had celebrities in it though, which is like it was A-list enough to have people want to watch this. And I know it's All-Star Friday night, but whatever. Now you have like streamers and content creators. I hate when they call it content. But you have all these people that it's not, the allure of it is gone. The event itself for this city hosting this weekend event, that's great. You had like the former All-Stars brunch, and you had all this stuff like that. The new tech that they're going to introduce, basically like a small convention is what they had for the past 3 years now, I believe. That's cool. Getting all these legends together, taking photos, celebrating the heritage of the game, the histories of the game. That's what I like. But you start to lose it more with this All-Star game going back probably 4 years, 5 years. Ever since they changed from the East-West, what was I listening to earlier? They were basically talking about how you don't have these players' pride attached to these teams anymore.
Yeah.
And also you had all these players playing AAU together, at least the North American players playing AAU together. So there's no real rivalry anymore. You don't have the players representing the teams. The NBA is promoting the players more than they are promoting the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear about the Lakers all the time. We hear about the Celtics because they're one of the two is actually good. We'll talk about that here. But you don't have that sense of pride attached to that. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because, to the NBA's point, like, as soon as David Stern back in the day had figured out kind of what was going to sell the league would naturally lean into that direction because they ran into the phenom of his time in like Michael Jordan, and then they carried on for the next person.
Even before that, when Stern was commissioner, you had Bird and Magic.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest and best rivalries you could have had at that time. It's like, hey, it's a white guy. Hey, it's a black dude. Let's pit them together. What also helped build that organically, and I know it's a different time when this happened. College sports allowed players. It didn't allow players. Players were more likely to stay in college to finish out their 4 years to play basketball, and they met NCAA tournament. That's cool. Carry that to the professionals, and that was organic a rivalry as you can create from that. That's dope. Now you have players jumping in and out of the portal. I sound like an old guy right now. But you have all these players jumping in and out of the portal, and you don't get to establish anything like that, really. There's no personalities anymore. Everyone's thinking about building themselves as a brand is what it is.
Yeah. Which, again, it kind of is the way the whole league developed at that point. So in the late 90s, early 2000s, that branding became kind of crucial. And then once like social media and stuff took off, then it just perpetuated itself. I don't think if somebody's not going to be that competitive and they're looking out for like the brand, so to speak, or if they're just like worried about fitness, because a lot of the players too that always get selected in All-Star Weekend, they are always in contention for like, this is the last stretch of the regular season.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, like it's always the last stretch of the regular season, so they're in playoff contention, or they might be on like the the what's it called, the playoff, the play-in spots for like the Lakers are. So it's like, oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna like dial it back. We're all gonna hang out and chill in Indianapolis.
Do we really need LeBron James, our only hope for helping us get past the play-in tournament, getting hurt in an exhibition game?
Yeah, that'd be exactly. I think the way they structure it now, it's just like it's tough because they want a good product. They want to show a good product, the NBA. But the way the weekend works, going into the latter half, like the last stretch of the season, I don't think they're going to be working against that forever. Especially, like you said, the team recognition isn't necessarily high, but player recognition is. If somebody's hurt, say for on the freak chance, one of the All-Stars gets hurt during this, well, what do you have to promote now for the rest of the season? Especially if it's a team that's like either in playoff contention or they're already in the playoffs. It's like, well, we don't have anything to draw anybody to this now.
And that sucks is how the league has shifted to promoting players instead of promoting teams. Yeah.
I think there were some gimmicks in like the All-Star weekend stuff that they were like, oh, do like a 4-point line or like a 5-point line, something like that. I think that would be kind of awesome to see, because then not all the time, but you would just see people like throwing up shots from like crazy range. Like only 5 players can probably.
You test that? You know where you test that? The G League or the Celebrity Game.
Oh yeah. See,
bring back Rock and Jock, where you had the 20-foot high goal, old MTV style basketball stuff. That was cool. I thought that was fun when we were kids. I have more to say, but that'll probably be for the reels on how you can make the All-Star game better. Let's move on to storylines for the rest of the season. You talked about players getting hurt. Joel Embiid, if he doesn't return, Sixers, this is from NBA.com, by the way, if you want to go check out that article. Sixers are bound for their play-in tournament? I think so. Short answer, very possible. In the grand scheme, you have Tyrese Maxey, who, as young and all-star as he is, uncharted waters for him to kind of carry a team the way he's been playing out of his mind. Over the past stretch of the last 3 weeks, really before All-Star break. NBA started back up tonight, Thursday night, as we record this show. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. That's one storyline to watch out for, especially with the Sixers as strong as they were playing and everyone kind of vying for Joel Embiid to be MVP this year. But then you had the games played cap, and then there was a whole argument against that, which we haven't talked about. We should bring up sometime. I'll probably call in a friend for that one and let them say what they want to say.
Yeah, phone a friend.
Phone a friend. We do that. 370-0337. Leave a voicemail. Phone your friends here, and we got next. Which team will hold the best record in the West? Another storyline to watch. Or also known as, how badly do the Clippers want it? The hottest team since early December. They went on a tear, and that makes it priority for LA to be favored for the number one spot in the West. But Joe, surprise, surprise, Minnesota Timberwolves, number one team in the West currently.
What? Cat's doing work. See, I told y'all. It's crazy. Y'all didn't believe me.
It's more of Anthony Edwards, and he's got a new shoe that just came out recently. It looks dope.
That's the secret.
I like it a lot. Money's still on the table though for Denver to be. They are still the favorites to win the West, and rightfully so. You got a strong core there, great defense. Also, you have Finals MVP on their team still, so there's still that. Young teams to watch out for: Minnesota and Oklahoma City. Joe, I know you know a little bit about Oklahoma City, but yeah, they're thirsty, they're hungry, both. They are starved of both food and water. But I think the last stretch of the season, there's 8 weeks left in the season. Seeing how these young teams kind of use that to move into either the play-in or the playoffs, just solidify like a 4 or 5 seed, whatever. I think it's interesting how that's going to come down to the stretch there. The biggest tell of how the youth will handle this is the All-Star game. The West had older players compared to the, so keep that in mind. They also dropped 211.
That's insanity to me, dude. It's just like, all right, cool. Like, I know that the percentage of 3-pointers has gone up in like the last 15 years, so it's like I can see that slope happening. But it's just also like we're just hanging out and we're gonna play this basketball game, and they're just like, all right, let them walk up to the line and shoot this thing or whatever. Like,
just let them check it up.
Yeah, like
you won't be getting any of that, folks, in the rest of the NBA.
Crazy.
And in the playoffs, just letting you know. Milwaukee's another storyline. We were talking about the East a second ago. There was a getting to know you process. Doc Rivers, I, for the life of me, cannot understand why they hired him. Jeez.
Is it because it was a pairing of convenience? I think it's like, hey, Doc said.
The rumor was that Giannis wanted somebody else to kind of be in there. They hated how the coaching was being handled, and then you had everybody dancing. You saw that where they were in the circle, just kind of going around, just like, our coach is gone, yay! It's like they really, really hated that dude. I got some numbers here. 25th in offensive rating, 113. If you know those numbers, they lost to Jimmy Butlerless Miami by 26 points. Lost to the Grizzlies, missing their starting five, and they're losing games on an average of at least 10.8 points per game. They had the same record, 3-7 in that stretch since Doc Rivers has been hired, since the league worst Detroit Pistons. That's from Bleacher Report. You're as bad as Detroit right now. I don't see, they're middling right now, heavily. I don't have the standings pulled up on where they're at, but I can see them falling to a play-in team easily. But Joe, they got Giannis. They got Dame.
We've seen this happen before, especially with players like James Harden. You can't rely on just one person throughout the playoffs, because like, especially as many games they play, and as far as you go up until like the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals and into the finals, it's like your player's going to get burned out, and if the people around them can't do what they're supposed to do, you're only going to go as far as your person is not tired, basically.
I thought. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, oh man, just give him the ball and he'll create. It's like Kyrie Irving, let him do his thing. Like, same thing with him actually too. It's like,
I thought you were going to say we've seen this situation before with Damian Lillard.
Oh yeah, well, there's
you had him and LaMarcus Aldridge all those years in Portland, just get over the hump. Brutal.
And it's not to say that it's like a lack of parity, because I think the way things have been trending, you have star players that get drafted somewhere, and then teams have actually been good about building around those draft picks, instead of like, as soon as their first contract is up, they book it. They've been able to turn some things around, like move some draft picks around, make some trades before the deadline, stuff like that, where they're able to kind of sustain. It's like, all right, cool, we got a decent starting five, and then let's build the bench. I think since the bubble year, I think it's been easier for teams to kind of gravitate towards, because we've seen this paradigm shift. Like, Phoenix, everyone was like, oh yeah, Phoenix just, they're just kind of around. Like, they're number 5 right now in the standings. Which nobody expected them to be it was just a bubble team or like a fluke because of the situations that they were in. But no, like, they've been able to build around their star players and continue the success. Same thing with the Timberwolves. Like,
do you think it's better for Phoenix to kind of be under the radar like they are?
I think it is. Because almost like the Phoenix Suns in the mid 2000s, like they were always going to get at some point to like either the Western Conference Finals or just below that, and you wouldn't be able to discount them. And I don't think that's the case this time.
I think Devin Booker is so skilled that he can will the team there. You have other players supporting it. Kevin Durant, obviously. Mm-hmm. My concern with them is how old they are.
Yeah.
Let me see how much Booker doesn't need to rely on anybody else and just drop 40 one night, and then do it again another night, like the following night.
I think it's also a detriment too, because like everyone feels like Kevin Durant kind of rode the coattails of the Golden State Warriors, and he was on those championship teams. Depending on who you talk to, that can be controversial, but I think that goes to the aspect of like, you can't have one standout person carry the team. Like, that's impossible. They would have had that type of success if it wasn't for the way they were able to spread the floor or even run their offense with him as a part of it. I don't think you get that same version of him though, just because of how late it is in his career, and they are missing some key pieces off the bench.
We have more to cover. We'll go straight into At the Buzzer in a minute, but we'll tease some of the stuff that we're going to talk about in the reels. We got the Celtics to talk about, of course, kicking ass in the East. Dallas, for all those Mavericks fans out there, can they maintain? Are the Warriors back? Are the Lakers back? What does it look like for that? Will the play-in be exciting? It will be. I'm fairly certain of that. Joe, everyone's recommended daily dose of At the Buzzer.
Yes. I miss this music. And it's all of our music. All right.
I know you like this one because you hate the one that I had.
Whatever. It was weird. At the Buzzer, EA Sports opt into the game. EA Sports is releasing college football. 25. The latest and greatest college football experience you can get on consoles. They were actually offering, per the all the agreements that they have with the players inside to use their likeness in places. They were offering players $500, like a signing bonus type thing, to use their likeness in the game, as well as a free copy of the game. Now, John, you signing that deal?
If I'm a player that's not going pro, yes. But if I'm a player that's like, I'm top 100 and recruited, like, I'm still good. I'm a 5-star prospect that just came in. I got my tackles in. I got my catches in, my passes, whatever. It's all that and $70, which is basically the worth of the game.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's next gen, though, John. It's next gen.
The thing about that, I can't remember the last NCAA game that actually had names in it. But I remember playing these games and to see like quarterback 12 and wide receiver 5.
Yeah.
Quarterback 5. Like we know what was up. We know that the attributes are based on the same players. I don't think it enhances the game anymore. Like, I get to play as this person, whatever. But also, you don't need it to be NCAA football because that was the whole charm of the game, was like the rivalries, the traditions and stuff. Even the promo they put out last week, the more gears forward, like all of that traditional stuff that goes into the universities and peek around, as long as they have, not the players. You don't need it.
Yeah, I don't think it adds to the immersion of the college football experience, and you get to hear their names in the game. Also, it's going to be weird because, like, some players will opt in, some won't. So you'll hear, like, number 5, and then star quarterback's name. Like,
Exactly.
It would be more jarring, if anything, to have one but not the other.
It's like quarterback 16 and goes to Marvin Harrison Jr. for the touchdown. He's going to the draft, by the way.
Yeah. Second topic here. You tripping like Scottie Pippen. The No Bull Tour. Scottie Pippen's out and about down under with the No Bull Tour, talking The Last Dance with your boys Horace Grant and Luke Longley. Yeah, y'all remember them. The tour is traveling from Tasmania to Sydney to Melbourne. They have been talking mess since the Last Dance documentary. John, would you pay to see this? Also, who wants this?
How much are the tickets?
I didn't look that up, but I'm sure it's in Australian currency.
I've never been to Australia, and this is messy. Yeah, sign me up.
So you have like probably somebody some would deem biggest hater of his era, maybe.
Well, okay, Jordan made The Last Dance, but it was all focused on like Michael Jordan versus Jerry Krause.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole thing that was kind of awkward because one of the men is still alive and one of them is not. So you couldn't really get both sides of that story. For this, you have someone that is actively alive, actively a hater, going around with Horace Grant
and Luke Longley.
Talking all the why Luke Longley?
Because he got in late too. Like that seems kind of weird to get. He wasn't even in on like the.
You could have had anybody else that had. If you want people to be in those seats, it's like, hey, let's get the people that have the most impact. But they're in Australia. Maybe Luke Longley has ties to Australia. Maybe they just want a white guy on that panel. I don't know.
I think it's going to be interesting to hear what kind of comes or leaks out of the tour. We'll keep y'all posted on that because, again, it is kind of messy. Scottie Pippen's kind of a hater, but also, like,
I think it would be entertaining still if they really like the legends out there. I think I wouldn't pay to see it though. I'd be like, I'll wait for the write-up and listen or read what they had to say. I'll pay to see it so I can tell you that I experienced it first. I'm like, yeah, oh man, that was crazy. Pippin's out of his mind. He's not. He seems so chill, but also like he won't let anything go, and I respect that because I'm petty too. Last one, John, one gotta go. ESPN posted this. Remember the Titans, Space Jam, Coach Carter, one gotta go. Coach Carter. What? I like that movie a lot, but Remember the Titans has Denzel, and is an instant classic. Yeah, you can't get rid of it. Space Jam, our childhood was predicated on that movie because they combined both the things that I loved when I was younger: Looney Tunes and basketball. Is that Bill Murray? Looking like get him out of here. But when I was a kid, this movie was dope. Watching it as an adult, it's kind of jank. It's kind of corny and weird. See, I get rid of Space Jam. Remember the Titans and Coach Carter are actually good movies. Not just like sports movies, but just good movies in general. They're not the greatest. Oh, so you're just like not tied to the nostalgia factor? It's like, no. Because I remember seeing Remember the Titans, like, I guess the year that it came out. So it was like several years after Space Jam. And then Coach Carter way after it came out, and I was like, oh dang, this is dope. Also, Samuel Jackson's like, he's awesome. Michael Jordan, Bill Murray wasn't enough to save Space Jam. Daffy Duck, who I like a lot in his earlier iterations, he wasn't enough, but he was crazy. Yeah, Daffy, yes, exactly. Nope, get rid of Space Jam. Sorry. No, I'm not. That's it. You're right. Oh my God. We did it. We actually did better than last week, and that's all we were trying to do was the format of the show, presentation of the show, the lighting of the show, because now I don't look blown. I don't like blown out, drowned out by light. We do it for y'all. Yeah, we do it for y'all. We do it one time a week for y'all, for you, the street level fan, the original voice of the street level fan. I know there's other We Got Next podcasts out there.
Nah, forget them. F them.
Yeah, F them. Find us on Facebook. Search We Got Next Podcast. I know we're broadcasting on the Friday Podcast page, but find us on Facebook. Search, again, We Got Next Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends about it, too. Share it. I know y'all are some sports fanatics out there. So tell everyone about it. Wherever podcasts are available, find us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible. For those that subscribe to that. Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Just search the We Got Next Podcast. Again, it's over here. It's the microphone with the sports balls and all the shapes on there. Simple logo, but I like it. I made it. Twitter, if you do that, at We Got Next _pod. Instagram, at We Got Next _pod. Voicemail, leave one. We'll get to it. We'll make a reel about it. 806-370-0337. That's Joe. I'm done. Bye. You're shy, everybody. I forgot.